Hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest, 8-Second Gaming, and in today's video we are going to be talking about and breaking down the 3 best legend combos that you are going to be wanting to run this season. Legend comps are extremely important. They are the foundation of your playstyle, and on top of that, what kind of playstyle you want to have doesn't matter, but having the right legend comp to fit your playstyle is extremely important, and while picking a playstyle, it's best to pick legends that work and synergize with that. So we are going to be breaking down one legend comp for each different playstyle. But before we do that, just quickly, if you guys are really looking to take your Apex skill to the next level, then you need to check out the GameLeap website right now. Over there, we have top-level coaches creating the best, most highly informative guides to make you the best player you can possibly be. We have legend guides, gun guides, VOD reviews, and much more. So no matter what you struggle with, we have solutions for you. So click the link in the description, pick yourself up a membership, and start to improve today. But okay, with that covered, let's move back into things. And yes, like I mentioned before, we are going to be covering one legend comp for each playstyle. And for those of you that don't know, the 3 main playstyles when it comes to rank is Edge, Zone, and Hybrid. Now, if you don't know what kind of playstyle you want to have or what kind of playstyle you do have, we actually have a video on this channel already breaking down these different playstyles to help you out. But the first comp that we are going to be breaking down is the Edge comp. Now, Edge comps are the ones that want to be fighting non-stop. They don't care if they drop 50-50, they're going to be playing on the edge of zone, moving in as the zone closes, and fighting at every opportunity that they possibly can get. So with that, you need a team comp that is more than comfortable in a fighting situation and legends that are going to be highly aggressive. So for this comp, we're going to be going Mad Maggie, Bloodhound, and Conduit. Now to start things off, Mad Maggie got a huge buff going into Season 20 with the new perk system. She can be extremely aggressive and cut off so many different spots for teams to play, no matter what kind of perks you pick with Maggie. The deeper riot drill, the 2 charges on the riot drill, the ball that drops a thermite after it explodes, they're all very strong perks depending on what kind of playstyle you want to have with Maggie. And the best part about her is when she's being super aggressive, she has the follow-up on her area denial. When you look at a character like Fuse, for example, yes, he does have a ton of area denial, but he doesn't have the same follow-up that Mad Maggie does. When you throw your wrecking ball and stun somebody and create a lot of chaos, you have the follow-up because of the speed boost, and you're able to just run in, shotgun somebody down, and be able to clean up a fight insanely quickly. That is a very solid strength to have as an entry fragger on an Edge team comp, so that is why I'm putting her here. And having strong follow-up on somebody's entry damage is another thing that you want on this team comp, and that's why we're putting Bloodhound in the secondary fragger position. Bloodhound is still the go-to scan character when it comes to the secondary fragger position. And with the perks system, they did get kind of a nerf because the White Ravens no longer charge your ultimate, but having a faster tactical scan and also the ability to heal yourself while you're getting knocks in your ultimate is still very strong. Bloodhound's ult doesn't have the slowest cooldown either, so you're able to get it back fairly frequently, and if you happen to find a gold helmet or you're carrying ultimate accelerants, you should have it pretty much every fight that you need it. Even though Bloodhound's ultimate is extremely strong, it makes them incredibly hard to hit, it gives them so much speed potential and aggressiveness potential, it's not a must need in fights. It's not one of those things where if you don't have it, you've just automatically lost the fight. So don't panic if you don't have this going into your next engagement. But the amount of information that Bloodhound can give in fights, and also when they do have their ultimate up, allowing them to then capitalize off of Mad Maggie's damage as well as Maggie going in, makes them an incredibly strong secondary fragger in this position. And to round out this team comp, we have Conduit. She is just the go-to aggressive support right now. She makes it incredibly hard for teams to actually follow up on the damage that they've dealt to your team because you dip around a corner, Conduit Qs you, you get your shield back, and now you're able to go back into the fight without the enemy team really getting any sort of a break from you. Conduit allows you and your team to apply so much pressure while also having so much of her own utility because her ultimate allows you to cut off rotations, cut off pushes, corral people, do so many different things. She's just amazing. This whole team comp is built around fighting, so that's what you want to do, so Edge, pick this team comp. But now we can move to the exact opposite side of the spectrum, and that is going to be the zone playstyle. Now for zone, what you want to do is you want to figure out where the ring is going. You want to then get there as soon as you possibly can, lock down a building, and you're playing for placement points. Now zone is a little bit riskier this season because if you're playing zone, you're not going to have as many early game fights, and you're not going to be getting your perks as fast. Although it is a little bit more consistent in some senses because you're getting more consistent placement points, allowing you to climb more consistently. I don't know how many times I just said consistent, but you know, It's just a point that I'm trying to make. So because you're just going to get to zone as quickly as you possibly can, lock that down and wait for endgame, this team comp is built around that. So for this team comp, we have Valkyrie, Crypto, and either Caustic or Watson depending on your team's preferences. Now Valk with the new perk system basically just reverted all of the nerfs that she got leading up to this season. She actually has gone back to being a very strong character and not just a troll pick. Valkyrie is now able to do her job once again, and that is to just get your team to the end game as fast as she possibly can. She is just a school bus. Back when Valkyrie was hard meta and she was basically on every single team comp, she allowed your team to have such free rotations, and that's no exception this season either. Once your team is able to figure out where the ring is going, Valkyrie just ults, you fly straight there, you get there before anybody else does, and then you lock that building up, and Valkyrie's done her job, and she's done it extremely well. And if something happens towards the late game where you weren't able to get the best position in zone because maybe somebody took it, you always have the option to Valkyrie ult late and just land somewhere as a Hail Mary play. She's not the most versatile when it comes to this playstyle, but her only use is to just get you to zone as quickly as you possibly can. That is what you want to do, and that is why Valkyrie is so useful on this team comp. But once you get to zone, how do you make the most of it? Well, that is where Crypto comes into play. Crypto is one of the best legends when it comes to gathering information because he can do it remotely and safely. Once you guys fly to zone with Valkyrie, Crypto can then set up on his Game Boy, fly around, see where other teams are playing, maybe even harass and grief them with some EMPs to charge up his shield core because EMP damage does count, and just gather up information passively over time, allowing you and your team to make more informed decisions. How many times has this happened to you where you're playing endgame, your building doesn't get the zone that you thought it was going to get and you need to move, so you pick out a new spot and you're wondering, is it free or is it not free? You then go to check it, turns out it isn't free, and you just died because there was a team ratting in that spot. Well, with Crypto, you don't have to guess. You can move your drone over to that location, see if it's taken or not, and then play off of that information. And you did all of that without putting you or your team at risk. At worst, you're just going to lose your drone, then it goes on a cooldown and you don't have it for a few seconds. And once you get Crypto to the end game spots where he's able to then EMP multiple teams at the same time and allow your team to get cleanup kills, that's where he really starts to shine. Before, he was strong, he can do a lot, but once you get those EMPs in the final circles, especially with the new perk making it circle even bigger, he's going to be able to do so much for your team, setting you guys up for easy wins because it's just cleanup kills at that point. Crypto is in an insanely strong position right now, and you should be abusing him if you are a zone player. But once you guys fly to zone and you have Crypto setting up on his drone, you need somebody to protect your team and make it so that other teams can't just walk in on your building and take it for free, and that's where your defensive layers come into play with either Caustic or Watson. Now right now, in terms of usefulness, I do think Watson has the slight edge on Caustic, but Caustic has just always been a powerhouse pick when it comes to being a defensive for the last few seasons. The Caustic gas is damn near impossible to push through if he's actually able to rotate his barrels properly. And again, with the new perk system allowing him to have a wider radius on his ultimate grenade and also being able to heal in the gas, it makes Caustic even harder to force out of a building. But with that being said, Watson's perks are also very strong for her. Being able to revive your ally with 50 health is very strong because it's kind of like an at-home gold knockdown. And the fact that she could also have 2 generators now is not something that should be overlooked. Watson's generators are extremely strong at denying pushes because nobody can nade you out, and having multiple areas covered from being naded out is also incredibly powerful. Back in the day when Watson first came out, you could have up to 3 generators on the ground at the same time, and it made pushing Watson teams so hard because you had to do so much to just get initial damage off. And I know some people might be saying, well, is the trade-off worth it because you might have 2 generators but you're not getting as much shield back, and the shield is not something that you should really be playing around. Yes, having passive shield regeneration is nice off of the generators, but you should still be carrying your own shield heals. You should not be just relying on Watson's generators to heal you. So the trade-off of getting 2 generators for not having as many shield heals off of it is absolutely worth it. This team comp is going to allow you to get to buildings insanely fast, lock them down so that nobody else can take them from you, and allow you to play for the end game getting some easy placement points. But what if you are a go with the flow type of player? You don't care if you're playing edge, but you also don't mind playing zone. Well, for that, you're gonna pick the hybrid team comp. And as a hybrid playstyle, you just kind of do whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter if you're in the middle of zone because you can just lock down a building if you need to, and if you're on edge, you are more than happy to take a fight. Well, for this team comp, you're going to be looking to pick up Wraith, Horizon, and Newcastle. Now, this team comp is a little bit more on the aggressive side because hybrid players tend to want to fight more rather than locking down buildings. So that's why I'm going for more of an aggressive fighty style, but these guys are able to still play zone if the need arises. Now, starting off with Wraith, she is just a very solid staple entry fragger. It doesn't matter what kind of playstyle you want to have because she can do it all. The portal is almost unbeatable in terms of usefulness in multiple different situations. If you want to be aggressive, if you want to be defensive, if you want to relocate people, if you want to do whatever you want to do with the portal, you can do it. It also allows Wraith to play incredibly split from her team when you actually do need to lock down multiple buildings in zone. If something goes wrong, then Wraith can just use her portal to get back to her team. No other legend has that capability. Maybe Ashe, but it's not on the same level that Wraith is. Wraith also got some massive buffs with the new perk system, allowing you to know when a new team has gotten to your radius, and also being able to activate your tactical faster. So she knows when people are walking up on her, and she's able to have that get out of jail free card just being in her back pocket. There's nothing more that I can really say about Wraith because she's just that strong of a character. And another incredibly strong character is going to be Horizon. Now, Horizon can win fights all on her own with just her ultimate. Throwing the black hole and tossing a couple grenades with it can knock people incredibly quickly before they even realize what's going on. That can end fights insanely fast and make it so you don't get third party because nobody's able to react to the shots that are going on because there weren't a whole lot to begin with. Horizon has always been and probably will always be a very annoying character to fight against because of how much options she has in her back pocket. And some people might be saying, well, Horizon really isn't a zone style of character. She doesn't really have any options to hold down buildings. And that is somewhat true, but she also does have it in some sense as well, because you can use her gravity lift to block off doors if people are trying to swing in on you. You can use her black hole to pull people off certain angles. You can get a little bit creative with Horizon. Now, she isn't the best, I will give you guys that, but again, this is more leaning towards the aggressive style because hybrid players tend to not find themselves in zone as often. So that's why I'm putting Horizon here, because she can be good in zone if you are able to play her creatively, but she also is more of an aggressive style legend for the fights you're going to be finding yourself in. And rounding out the team comp is going to be Newcastle. I've said it once on this channel, I'll say it 100 times. Newcastle is incredibly strong. People need to stop sleeping on him and start to understand how good he is in fights. He can be aggressive, he can take split off angles, he can do what his team needs him to do, and he does it while all being incredibly safe, because if something goes wrong, you just slam down your ultimate, jump back to your team, create a spot for you and them to play, and allow your team to have a breath of fresh air while they heal up, restabilize, and start to take the fight from a different standpoint. Newcastle is strong. He's strong, he's strong, he's strong, and you guys need to realize this. I'm going to keep beating it down on people until they actually start to understand, until his play rate goes up, because people need to understand how good he is. He is probably the go-to support when you have no idea what kind of playstyle you want to have, because he can do it all. I'm sure you guys have heard the term jack of all trades, master of none. Well, Newcastle is a jack of all trades and a master of all. He fits in no matter what, and he does it incredibly well. But if you guys want to see some team comps in action, you should come check out my Twitch sometime over on twitch.tv/8secondgaming. Also, if you guys are looking to stay up to date with the latest and greatest Apex Legends tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Once again, I'm 8secondgaming, and I'll see you guys in the next one.